Today we're going to show you how I made a loading pin. Basically I've got a pulley system in my new fitness room where I can stack my Olympic size plates on this loading pin, and then with my pulley system basically it'll lift and give some constant resistance. So basically I was able to build this last night using parts that I had on hand, and the only tool that I needed was I used my chop saw to cut some PVC pipe. So essentially the reason it's so tall is it's just a piece I had on hand, a piece of pipe. So I'm going to make a shorter version today, and the main difference between today's model and the one I made last night is because of this adapter that I had on hand. It uses 1-inch pipe, and this adapter screws on and it goes down to 1/2-inch pipe. And so to attach the eye bolt, basically I just use some flat washers. I use one on the top to cover the adapter hole, and I've got two inside the adapter where the nut is threaded on. So my only concern was, what is the load limit on this eye bolt? And in checking with the store today and one that I bought of identical size, this is rated at, this one's 90 pounds. It's a 5/16 bolt by 3 3/4 eye bolt. But since we're only using, for the most part, I might be using about, let's say, depending on me or my wife, 25 to 50 to 75 pounds of plates on here. We're well within the, let's say, the safety parameters of this eye bolt. So again, last night, the only thing I had to cut was the length of this PVC pipe. So again, this was just parts that I had on hand. I had one of these flanges on hand. I had a piece of tube on hand, or pipe, 1-inch. The problem with the 1-inch though is basically pretty sloppy. So again, with the parts that I had on hand, I found some PVC pipe. This is 1.5-inch PVC pipe, and basically that fits right inside the Olympic plate. So without very little slop. And I also added these cushion donuts, which if you watch or wait for another video, I'll show you how I easily made these. And they slip right over the loading pin, or even on my barbell and other, and even my weight plate stack rack, so the cushion things. So basically, let's start with, just take your flange. I've got about a 6-inch nipple. So this flange is about $4 at the hardware store. A 6-inch nipple is, this is about $2. And I had the PVC pipe on hand. A cap is only about $1.70 or so. This one I've already got pre-drilled at 5/16 inches to accept our eye bolt. And again, so right now the only tools you would need is a drill with a 5/16 bit and a saw to cut the PVC, whether you use a hand saw or I'll quickly use my chop saw over here. So let's go ahead and just screw in. And again, this was just, I just happened to have this piece of pipe on hand. Screw it in hand tight, and that should be enough. So what I'm going to end up doing is measuring how much PVC, how long we need to cut that. First thing I want to find out though is how far the PVC protrudes over the flange. And in this case, it doesn't slip over the flange at all. So now I know that basically the length of my PVC will be exactly the distance between this lip and this lip. So let's go ahead and mark that. You might want to mark mark it just a touch long. So there's my mark, so I need to be this wide, and this is just, again, a scrap piece of PVC. So I'm going to go over the chop saw and cut that off real quick. Okay, you could have done that with a jigsaw, a handsaw, whatever. Okay, let's take our cap back off. Slide that back on, and if it's a little, I might have it just a little long, but basically you see now that when we tighten it down, that piece of PVC is going to wedge in there and be tight. Although what I don't like about it is kind of this slop. So to get that on center, what I found was, those shavings off of there, basically take an O-ring. So I found an O-ring that'll just go over the 1-inch pipe and will also fit just inside the PVC. So as we push this down, basically that O-ring will roll down into position. So I want to end it up somewhere around here, try to keep it off of the threads. So basically just push it down, let it roll in place. Take the second one, set it inside the top before you screw on the cap. I'm just going to poke it down a little bit past those threads. And now our top can screw on. But first we have to put in the eye bolt. And you don't need much of the eye bolt protruding out. So you see how I did it last night, how high it was. So about the same thing today. Just stick it in. Thread your nut on. So get it started, and then on the outside, you can tighten that nut. So essentially, that's it. So tighten it down with your wrenches. Screw the cap on. And all you need to do is just hand tighten this. So basically, that's it. Your lifting pin, I've got these little donut cushions that I made as well. Slips over for a little noise reduction. Throw our plate or plates on there and basically hook this to your pulley system. You can buy one for about 22 bucks on Amazon, or if you have to buy brand new parts, you've got about a $1 eye bolt. You've got about $1.75 to $2 cap. You've got about a $2, this is a 6-inch, 1-inch nipple. You go longer, add some size to it. You've got about a $4 flange and a piece of PVC, couple O-rings. So, you know, you're in the $10 range for building one yourself. And again, if you don't have a drill press, you can do it with a hand drill, but if you have to buy a cap anyway, maybe buy one of these adapters instead. 1-inch pipe reduced down to 1/2-inch pipe, and then all you need is a couple washers to pinch it all together to hold that eye bolt in, instead of having to drill a hole through here. Okay, so here's the finished product of my lifting pins. And I actually made 2 of them. I took my first one and shortened it down. So the only thing I did was change out the length of that pipe. And so you see the type of pulley I've got. I'm using 3/8-inch double braided rope. The lifting capacity of 500 pounds. The pulley is about 650 pounds. The clip is 350 pounds. But I built 2 of them since more than one person will be using this. Basically, I might keep one with a 35-pound plate on, one with a 25-pound plate. So just a quick switch over with the quick clip there, that spring clip, and we can switch the weights. We can take the clip off, we can add more plates to it. But so just showing you what you can do in your home gym.